do a bit of a random thing here. It is related to music, and I'm going to share with you one of my most prized possessions, which is this. It's actually full of gig tickets. As you may well guess, I do like going to gigs. I think it's, well, probably is my most loved hobby. Do people even use the word hobby anymore? I'm not sure. I'm going to show you first the first ever, I guess at this age I called them concerts. This is my first ever one. I'm going to try and, there we go, Backstreet Boys. Went with a friend of my mum's, actually a friend that my mum worked with, because she was a bit younger. My mum didn't think that it was really her sort of scene. I think she thought she was going to show me up. There was a hell of a lot of screaming, and I know that I didn't scream. I think I was just a bit amused by the whole thing, really. I was about 12. Scary times, people. The next one I ever went to was this Liberty X Just a Little Tour. I remember we spent all of the time after school before the concert making this big banner that said Tony, that was one of the male members by the way, in case you're not clued up on Liberty X. Tony, I want to say we're holding on for you. I'm not trying to cover this up, but I wasn't really a huge Liberty X fan. It was actually Emma, and I think she kind of just got me and Helen onto them slightly so that we'd go with her. The love affair, the true love affair I had with this band started. Busted. Ooh. At least you can tell from the dates that I would have been much younger. Some sort of defence for myself there. And again, here we go. Busted. Don't you think that tickets used to look so plain? I mean, now they're all fancy. I mean, there's some sort of background thing going on, but now they're all fancy and stuff. And apparently, back in the day, they thought, well, let's just make sure it's got the name so you know who you're seeing, but that's about it. December 2004, I decided to get a bit cooler, and I went to see Muse. We were still too young to really be wanting to get in the full brunt of like mosh pits and everything, so I think we played it safe and stuck in the stalls for the pops. Oh, went there twice. You could basically, well obviously it doesn't exist anymore, but when it did, you could just apply to get tickets. Second time we went, I was so excited because, let's take this back to my first ever concert. The first ticket I showed you, Backstreet Boys, they were there, and it was when they first had their reunion. It was a magical moment, because obviously when you get there, you don't have a clue who you're going to, what bands and singers you're going to get to see, so you're either going to be really lucky and get, well, Backstreet Boys as it was for me. It was like a walk down memory lane. It was lovely. Yes, the first time we went, we got the Crazy Frog. Do you remember that song? I'm not going to do an impression. Firstly, because I don't think I can do one, and secondly, because no one wants to hear that. First ever ticket I got signed by a member of a band. I have to say that it wasn't actually a member of Simple Plan that signed it. My friend wanted to go see Simple Plan, and I knew Hidden in Plain View were supporting. I don't know if any of you have heard of them, because I don't think they were very big over here, and they don't even exist anymore. The people do, please, I hope the people do, but as a group they don't. My favourite member of Hidden in Plain View was actually out in the foyer when we left. He had a scarf on, a long stripy scarf, and we went over to him and said, oh, you know, you could sign my ticket, and not many people were around it. Didn't realise that as he was talking to my friend, I was still stroking his scarf, and until Emma kind of said, you're stroking his scarf, dude, what are you doing? I was like, oh, yeah, sorry, it's a really nice scarf. Yeah, that's a good story. This was Panic at the Disco before they went rubbish. Just wanted to note the date and everything. That was when they were good. For those of you who don't know, Taking Back Sunday are my favourite band. And this was the momentous time I first saw them. I've probably got lip balm on that now. Right, the full Ponty in Pontypridd. Now half of this is a funny story, half of this is a damn well tragic story. A walk along the main road. We were actually trying to find the entrance to the place actually. Next thing I knew, I got pelted by a tomato from a passing car. I don't know how many of you have experienced a tomato hitting you on the arm before, but when it hits you pretty hard, at speed, it bloody well hurts, and I had a massive bruise on my arm afterwards. Thanks very much. The blackout. That was the first time I ever saw them. That was when no one knew who they were. Now everyone bums them. Well, not everyone. Now, the story connected to this is, this was the first time that I kind of stood quite near the front. They opened with Everyday Combat, and I nearly lost my shoe. That Sunday, 93 Feet East. Now, 93 Feet East is in East London, and it's really, really small. First of all, there was probably about 150 people, if that. And it was like this little tiny little bar venue. We were pretty much right at the front. There was no ramming around. They took requests all night, so all they played was what we asked for, and because there was such a small number of us, they just literally played everything that anyone asked for because they could actually hear our requests, and it was amazing. My first ever festival. First I'm going to tell you my rule I have. As you can see, the festival band I currently have on is just the Friday of Reading last year. Ever since I started going to festivals, I keep the festival band on until I've been to another one, and then I kind of trade in the old for the new. In 2006. Nice and red. Hello Goodbye, which was in Newport, and this signature was from someone out of, I think it says Tom. It was someone from a band called, got a song called Exit Emergency. So I'll kill the fire, put the fire. Houston calls! Houston calls! Houston. That's upside down. I give up. I used to do some street teaming and I got picked to cover Jet in Newport. We had to give out free lighters out of all the things you could possibly give out. Go and start smoking. I have 3 boxes full of Jet lighters still in the spare room. If you'd like a free Jet lighter, get in touch, I'll send you one. Sat in the seats inside once we got in there while the bands were playing and made up about 200 email addresses. This is where the venue was. Oasis Leisure Centre in Swindon. Don't judge me. Okay, an example of a very, very pretty ticket. Ooh, Muse. Now, I'm not ashamed of this, and it's a very pretty ticket, so I want you even more. JT, yes. What's happened to him, by the way? I miss him. I really do miss him. Crying rivers and having sexy backs. In the park near Edinburgh. Lovely festival. I really like it, and I like the eclectic mix of music you get there. The band is the prettiest I've ever had. It's pink, and it's got a pretty daisy on it, and it looks all parky. So maybe it's not so nice for blokes to go, because, well, butterflies and daisies aren't very masculine, are they, chaps? A website I used to do reviews for, they put me on guest list in exchange for me doing the reviews. I did it for about a year, and I felt really important because I got this. Literally, the band supporting Me Without You were Twin Atlantic, which you might be able to hear in the background. And I had to just go see them for the sake of old time's sake. We were literally back row in the O2. The O2 was F off big. The band that got back together, and I was so happy because I didn't get to see them before they split up. These tickets are really sketchy, aren't they? If you were a bit hungover, you're like, I can't focus on the fighting. Another night when I nearly lost my shoe. Boys got their own back, didn't they? Because me and my friend Dave didn't get tickets until literally the evening before. I went to BBC Proms in the Park with my mum. You can take as much alcohol and food in as you want, which is so much different to when you go to usual music events. Usually they, you know, frisk you, take off everything. I reckon they probably were getting wrecked and drugged up and had knives and were having knife fights and stuff. Thekla is a great venue for anyone who doesn't know Bristol and venues. Bristol has a lot of great small music venues, and Thekla is a boat. Could never get over the novelty of, oh, a boat. This is my last gig that I've been to this year so far. That's all from me. See you soon, guys.